The basketball season is underway, and it's time again for the Jim Barron Show presented by Geico. I'm your host, Ben Wagner. Thanks for joining us 2 games deep into the regular season, and the Golden Griffins opened up the season on Friday at Hofstra and got their first victory returning home at the Kessler Athletic Center on Monday night over the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Head coach Jim Barron is joining us as well for the program today. A great start to the season, and you're seeing a lot of offense from your team.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, this is what we've been doing, for the last couple of years. It kind of extended from the postseason tournament that we were in last year where we had the 30-second clock, and then we go into Hofstra, and it's high flying. We knew we were playing right off the bat 2 very good basketball teams. Both teams were picked to win their league, Hofstra in the Colonial, and then all of a sudden now Lehigh in the Patriot League. But, going to Hofstra, we felt we wanted to be aggressive. We were down 2 post players, with Cassidy Ryan losing his dad and Crumpton, being sitting out for violating team rules. So, we knew we had to move some of the pieces around with Jamal playing the 3 and the 4. But it was a lot of scoring, but we needed to really buckle down on the defense, especially against a guy like Bernardi, because he can really shoot the basketball.
And Bernardi hit 8 threes in that game at Hofstra.
Yep.
You come back to Lehigh. The outside game maybe not as glaring as an effect. What defensively will you have to do on the perimeter?
Well, we with the Hofstra game, we showed a lot of film of what we have to be better at and have a sense of urgency that when you're playing a good basketball team like Hofstra, that not only is experience, but they can really score the ball. And from the perimeter, and we showed our kids that if we took that away, because we did have a great lead, especially the first half. We went up 18 points on them the first half, and I think we were rolling at that point. They made some adjustments with going zone to try to slow us down, but we made a great comeback the second half to come back at them. But we needed to be a lot more consistent with our defense, especially on the perimeter, and also rebounding the basketball.
The numbers are outstanding. 85 points at Hofstra on November the 13th, the season opener. Most points in a season opener since 1982 for the Golden Griffins. In 2 games this year, averaging 91.5 points, and for the Griffs, that averages in the top 50. Offensively, that's where you want to be. Can you keep up this offensive pace?
Well, we want to keep trying to keep up the offensive pace just because we have a bench. And, when we get our 2 post players back in the fold, I think it's going to allow us to continue to do that, continue to be the running Griffs, get the ball down the floor. Our post guys know what they can do as far as running the court. And then the press, we're forcing turnovers. I mean, we had 15 turnovers against Lehigh, and we had 13 turnovers against Hofstra. So these are the types of things. But we want to even rev it up even more on the defensive end because we have athletes and we got a bench. And I think that's going to be important for us to keep this thing going.
Coming up on the Jim Barron Show, we'll get to specifics on players, including coming off the bench, Isaiah Gurley, what we've seen from Jamal Riddles, Phil Valente, and of course, Malcolm McMillan, who are having tremendous starts to the regular season. Those guys collectively are kind of steering the ship, if you will. But overall, this team shows a lot of fight. Up 18 points at Hofstra, you lose the lead, you have to really grind it out down the stretch. And then against Lehigh on Monday night, that is a team that collectively, you could tell, down the stretch, they weren't looking to give the basketball to just one guy. Everybody was ready in that situation, whatever the role is, to want the ball, call for it, or even get big defensive stops.
Well, they had 5 guys in double figures. I mean, talking about Lehigh. And they're a team that's picked to win their league. We beat them last year, and we did it on the defensive end. We got some quick charges early on. But then coming back to this year with being down, we're down 1 post player, and then Cassidy was coming off the death of his father. But, it was a situation where we knew we had to be consistent. And I think on the offensive end, we kept pressing them from the standpoint of getting the ball back on offense and attacking the bucket. Even when we were down in double figures, I felt, and I told the team in a timeout, we're going to win this game. And I think our guys really stepped it up. We really rebounded the basketball. We out-rebounded them 40 to 35. Jamal had 13 rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds to get a double-double. And again, Malcolm stepped up and shot it, filled the second half, hit 5 3-pointers, and again, we opened it up. They kind of did us a favor. When they went zone, that really kind of gave us a little breath of fresh air, just because we were able to pace ourselves a little bit on offense and rev it up on the defensive end. We turned them over 15 times, and I thought we really started to key on some of their players. We got Kempton in foul trouble, okay, with Malcolm taking it to him on the offensive end where we got a foul, and then Bleeker stepped in and take the charge when they got him the ball inside. But one key play that I thought was tremendous is we told our guys that if he gets the ball inside and he puts it on the floor, attack him. And Cassius Robinson did that one time and stole it right out from him. And I think those types of little things add up. And that's what this basketball team's going to be all about. Each guy got to keep getting better with consistency on the defensive end, on rebounding, so that we can attack the bucket on the offensive end.
He's the head coach, Jim Barron. This is the Jim Barron Show presented by Geico. We'll talk about 3 Golden Griffins that are having an amazing start to the season. As we continue on the program, we'll talk about Phil Valenti, Jamal Reynolds, and Malcolm McMillan when we return on the Jim Barron Show here on Timeless WECK and GoGriffs.com in a moment.
I'll ride the highway, I'm going my way.
If you're a free-range chicken, you roam free. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
For all information on Canisius Athletics, log on to GoGriffs.com, the official online home of Golden Griffin Athletics. Follow us on Twitter for up-to-the-minute information on Canisius Athletics. Follow Canisius Athletics on Instagram at GoGriffs. Like Canisius Athletics on Facebook. Follow our story and add your moments by following GoGriffs on Snapchat. Join our YouTube channel for all highlights, post-game, and feature videos. Canisius Athletics, online all the time.
This is the Jim Barron Show presented by Geico. I'm your host, Ben Wagner. The Golden Griffins are 2 games into the regular season and getting ready for a nice little comfortable homestand. The Golden Griffs will actually not even leave the state of New York until the middle of December. Even that trip is relatively in short order if you want to go to Happy Valley, watch the Griffs play at Penn State, or maybe take a trip to the Buckeye State and watch them play at Kent State. Then a nice little rendezvous for us in Vegas before the holiday.
Well, we got some tough games coming up, but these first 2 to start off, and now we turn around and have Cornell, who beat us last year. And again, Cornell is a team that really can score a lot of points. They scored over 100 playing Colgate the other night. So this is a good basketball team, and we gotta kind of keep bringing it together, with our seniors and with our underclassmen, just because this team is going to be in progress with constantly working to get better. And you can see from one game to the next the improvement that some of our guys have made, and one guy stepped up big time, and that's Malcolm McMillan.
He was tremendous, and he'll be in preparation for the game on Saturday. Go to GoGriffs.com for complete schedule information, or you can go and call the ticket office at 888-TIXX for tickets. Malcolm McMillan drops in 33 in the season opener, and he answers back on Monday night with another 31-point performance, and he's getting it done from outside and inside on the dribble drive.
Well, you could see that first play where he just took it, went back door, and he made a layup. Then he stepped off a screen, and here the 2 shots he made from 3-point range. I mean, he's a kid that just works very, very hard, and again, he looks to attack it, and he's not afraid to go to the basket. Left-handers are terrific. I love it. We got 4 left-handers on our team, and he's one that just, he just really attacks the bucket. He's very physical, very aggressive, has a tremendous amount of grit, and just keeps coming at you. And I'll tell you what, I think defensively he could be outstanding for us as well. And then also, he's got 8 assists where he is sharing the basketball. We're getting the ball to the right players. But he's a guy that just, really has a pace, has a poise, has experience, and again, we're going to continue to need him throughout the year to be the kind of guy that shows a lot of aggressiveness on the offensive end and defensively really can guard some of the top guards as we play against them the coming games.
How big of an impact has he been outside the numbers? Because early on, he clearly has made enough of an impact to his teammates. He was named a captain by you even before the season started, and you can see the leadership as he's huddling guys up and also instructing. He's almost like that extension of a coaching staff on the floor.
Well, you know, he had an up and down year at Central Connecticut, and because he got hurt. And I think now with having him back and really healthy, and his attitude has been tremendous. He's getting a master's degree, so he's the kind of guy that we made a captain right away, and the reason is because of his maturity and also his experience. But, we had a kid like this a couple of years ago, Chris Perez, and who was just an adorable influence, with our players of being serious and focused. And all of a sudden, you got a guy like that really elevates a lot of our other players because he takes a lot of pressure off of our guards in the backcourt. Now, some of those guys, which Jamal Reynolds, they just need to play. They just need to play. And, you got Cassius Robinson. He just needs to step up. But Jamal Reynolds, his numbers are outstanding. Then there's another guy, Isaiah Gurley. He's a freshman, and he's been able to step up not only in the offensive role, but defense as well as rebounding. But it gives us another player off the bench that could really fit in and play the way we need to play, and that's aggressively on defense, rebounding the basketball on the offense, stepping up and making shots.
Let's talk about your sixth man right off the bat. Isaiah Gurley had some very quality minutes and very quick minutes as well, where he makes an instant impact when he's on the floor. The redshirt freshman came off the bench, tallied 13 points, 6 boards against Lehigh, averaging 10.5 for the first 2 outings.
Well, he's shooting 50% from three-point range and 80% from the free throw line, but he's a gritty type of player. He's a warrior. He's not afraid of competition. He's from my hometown, Brooklyn, New York, so I love guys from the streets in the cities. And, he's a tough competitor. We redshirted him last year, but he's got a great body, and he's got a physical presence, and he's tough, and he's durable, and he's not afraid to mix it up. And that's a good sign for guys coming off the bench, and we want our guys to be that kind of way. But, we got other guys that we could call on with the athleticism, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
I was going to ask you about it, the makeup. And I know he's been on campus for a full year, and the redshirt season can be very, very beneficial to a player. And it looks like he's not just a wiry freshman that just arrived on campus.
Well, he's playing against some of our upperclassmen the last year, and that just really got him ready when he's playing every day, against Jamal Reynolds, against Zach Lewis, against Jeremiah Williams. These guys are upperclassmen, and they're guys that are proven, and he did it every single day, but he also was in the gymnasium, he's in the weight room, physically, he's got a presence, and plus, he is demanding on himself. He's a tough kid, great kid, but he's very demanding as far as proving himself to get himself ready and for the challenges, and he does that.
We gave the player of the game nod with 31 points to Malcolm McMillan last night on radio. And against Lehigh, I made a pretty strong argument to get Jamal Reynolds the player of the game honor because he stuffed the stat sheet. You mentioned the 10 offensive rebounds, another double-double for Jamal. That's his 5th in his career. He had the 16 points, the 13 rebounds, 4 assists in the ball game as well. Very valuable minutes, and he's had a great start to the regular season. It's somebody that you already touched on, but now he's kind of in his element, especially last night. You didn't have to go to the 4. He played the 3 a lot.
Well, you know what he does? He gets the putbacks. Very aggressive on the glass. Let me tell you something. He gets 10 foul shots, makes 8 of them. That is huge. But again, here Gurley goes to the bucket, misses, and Jamal gets the putback, and he just stays on the backboard. And he's a guy playing with high energy, high resolve. Here we get the ball down. Chris Atkinson makes the pass ahead of the floor, and this is what he does. He attacks the bucket, and that allows us to really be aggressive. And when we could go small ball with him, we put him at the 4 to really intensify our defensive presence and also our offensive intensity would be in attacking the basket, and that's what he does.
His game is pretty balanced right now. I mean, we talk about the rebounding, most of them on the offensive end, the point production. Those are things that people are going to gravitate to. But you watch him on the defensive end, that energy translates.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, he's the Energizer Bunny as far as I'm concerned because he really gets after it. He's very aggressive on the defensive end, not afraid to take charges, and that just generates us. When we press, he really comes after guys, making them turn, and this is what we're all about with being the running Griffs, but we're also gritty on the defensive end, we're gritty on the backboard, and these are the types of numbers because we don't really have one guy that has stepped above everybody else. I mean, Cassius Robinson was preseason on one of the teams, I think it was third team, but that's it. And Valenti, got a little bit of play with him coming off an injury last year, but all of a sudden you got guys like a Jamal Reynolds, you got Isaiah Gurley, and then you got Malcolm McMillan, guys that have been unproven the last couple of years, now all of a sudden stepping up. And I think this is the kind of basketball team, each and every game, you're going to probably see a different guy emerge because we do have a lot of guys that are working hard to prepare themselves. And again, this is a team in progress, and we got to keep working to get better.
Phil Valente stepped out, knocked down a career-high 5 3-pointers in the win over Lehigh, 37 minutes worth of action. He played 38 minutes on the floor against Hofstra. Huge minutes for the big man who looks 100% coming off that ankle.
Well, we bring him outside, and again, this is allowing our players to be multiple. We like our guys to face up and just read it, and you know what? Phil's the type of guy that, again, he can shoot the ball. We also have another guy, Bleeker, can do the same thing, and that's what we love to do with this basketball team. There's a play where we threw it back, and now he attacks it. So, again, when you have aggressiveness from your front line, and here we went small ball where we put Phil at the 5, Jamal at the 4, and then we just went inside out, and you know what? With the guards playing up front, they're not big enough to play against a 6'7", 6'8" forward that he can stretch it out, and there we make the extra pass. And again, Phil's right there for the putback and makes the three-pointer. And this is where we were down and we kept crawling back. But when you have this type of intensity and this type of individual where he has the confidence to be able to shoot the ball, Phil really stepped up and made some big plays. He also got, 4 rebounds, which I think is real important as well.
Phil Valente knocks down a huge three-pointer down the stretch. It started a 9-0 run to close out the ball game, breaking an 89-89 tie. It led the Golden Griffins to an eventual 98-89 win over Lehigh on Monday night. The Griffs are at home against Cornell coming up on Saturday afternoon. Hope you can join us on the broadcast right here on Timeless WECK, or of course, as always, watch it, listen to it right here on GoGriffs.com. We'll close up the show with the head coach Jim Barron as we continue on the Jim Barron Show, presented by Geico, right after this.
I'll ride the highway. I'm going my way.
If you're a free-range chicken, you roam free. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
For all information on Canisius Athletics, log on to GoGriffs.com, the official online home of Golden Griffin Athletics. Follow us on Twitter for up-to-the-minute information on Canisius Athletics. Follow Canisius Athletics on Instagram at GoGriffs. Like Canisius Athletics on Facebook. Follow our story and add your moments by following GoGriffs on Snapchat. Join our YouTube channel for all highlights, post-game, and feature videos. Canisius Athletics, online all the time.
The Jim Barron Show, presented by Geico, continues as the Golden Griffs notch their first victory on Monday night over Lehigh. We'll take a couple of days to get in game mode once again in preparation of Cornell coming to the Kessler Athletic Center on Saturday afternoon. Part of a men's and women's doubleheader. The women and Terry Zay will tip at 1 o'clock in downtown Buffalo. Shortly after 3 o'clock, we expect Jim Barron and the Golden Griffs to start running against Cornell. A lot of basketball at the Kessler Athletic Center. That's the middle game of a 3-game homestand. And really, you've got a number of games in short order right here in Western New York, including a ball game right after Thanksgiving against the University of Buffalo, and some great competition in front of you.
Well, I tell you what, Ben, this is one of the most exciting teams I've ever coached. The reason being is because we have a lot of unknowns it's on-the-job training where these guys are really stepping up. And again, it's the style that I really, really love and I'm very much into with the running griffs, okay? Up-tempo, scoring the basketball, pressuring on defense. And now we got a Cornell team that has been on the road, that will be their 4th game on the road, and a team that just had a good win against Colgate on the road. And so they're a team that beat us last year, and they got some really, really good players, and they can score the basketball. Matt Hatter is a guy that, Robert Hatter is a guy that really can score. Matt Morgan, they're the 2 top guys, but again, they got a lot of players that really can score the ball, and we got to really defend, rebound, so that we can push the ball down the court as well. So we hope that we can get a great crowd into Kessler, at 3 o'clock, and then I think the women's game starts at 1 o'clock. So again, this is to really rev it up and see some exciting brand of basketball, get a chance to see a lot of these kids really developing as they're watching the games. All of a sudden you see a kid like Malcolm McMillan, and he's a kid that, we knew he was good, but he has really stepped up his game. Jamal Reynolds is a guy that has been working really hard in preparation for his senior season. He's a captain. You got Kevin Bleeker is another captain. Phil Valenti, who had a great game against Lehigh. And then you got a lot of newcomers that are there that all of a sudden are emerging as we speak. So this is an exciting brand of basketball. We're playing against a good basketball team in Cornell, who beat us last year, who beat Colgate the other night. So again, we're looking forward to the challenge.
Easy for you to find tickets as well. If you're listening to the program, watching on GoGrips.com, you can already work the website, GoGrips.com, or call Ticketmaster at 888-TIXX. That's 888-TIXX. And of course, you can catch the broadcast all season long right here on GoGrips.com, ESPN3, and on Timeless WECK, where we've got the play-by-play story and every bounce of the ball along the way. Cornell coming in on Saturday. You mentioned the 4th game. They've played Georgia Tech. They've played Colgate. They'll play Binghamton by the time they arrive here in Western New York. Now you've got a couple of days to pad in, get the guys some reps. What's happening behind the scenes, Coach, as now you've got almost a full work week, I guess you could say, to get a team ready for their next opponent versus just that short turnaround with a day of travel also mixed in?
Well, this is a good time just because we have school going on, and we just got off the road when we played Hofstra in Long Island. We came back and played a very good team in Lehigh, which they're going to win a lot of games in their league. I think Hofstra has a chance to win their league. Lehigh definitely has a chance. After playing them, they have definitely a chance to win their league. And now we have a little bit of time just to get ourselves organized. We're going against a good Cornell team. So, we'll break down our tape against Lehigh on what we need to do better as we prepared against Cornell. And then as we get ready for Cornell, they beat us last year, and they ran with us last year. And this team is going to run. They're going to up-tempo. They scored 100 points over Colgate. So I tell you what, this is going to be an exciting basketball game for both teams, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
I don't want to ever look too far outside the weekend, but after the game on Saturday, you turn it around, and you're going to have a great atmosphere in the Kessler Athletic Center when St. Bonaventure comes to town. They've got a couple of upperclassmen leading the way, a strong point guard presence as well, and I know the history with you and St. Bonaventure being there, of course. Are you excited about that game as well coming in?
Yeah, there's no question. That's a big, big game, but, we take it one step at a time. With 7 newcomers, I don't want to put the cart before the horse because we have to focus right now on Cornell. And once we pass Cornell, then we get ready for St. Bonaventure. But we have to take it one game at a time. I think as I look at it, with this basketball team and in November, every game is a big game because it's a game of improvement. It's a game of us making strides. It's us working on our weaknesses to get better and to be a better basketball team for the next game. So we take it one step at a time. We work on improvements. We work on confidence, building chemistry, and get ready for each and every game.
The points have been really fun to watch being scored, and however they're coming on the interior from downtown. You've got guys maybe unexpectedly knocking down some three-point shots. I could hear you and sense the smile on your face, also kind of connecting with this team early on. What's the biggest surprise, now 2 games under your belt, that you've seen from this team?
Well, the biggest surprise is they gravitated to my philosophy really, really quickly. And again, you know, this is why they came to Canisius, is really to play this style of basketball, get a quality degree, whether it's a master's degree or get an undergraduate degree. But they really have understood the pace of the game, the defensive intensity, the offensive intensity, and understanding the grit that's involved. Rebounding the basketball, stepping in and taking charges, putting pressure, turning people over. Okay, but as we do that, we got to get better in handling the basketball, making good decisions. We got to get better on the execution of our offense and make the extra pass, and then being multiple, whether it's changing defenses or whether it's, you know, getting the ball inside once in a while to Kevin Bleeker so that he can be physical. So that's the types of thing. It's a time of improvement, a time of gaining confidence and creating continuity, but also working to get better.
Head coach Jim Barron is 4-0, opening up the Kessler Athletic Center in his tenure here with the Golden Griffins. The next opportunity to watch the Griffs play will be on Saturday afternoon, hosting Cornell, and home games continuing in St. Bonaventure before the Thanksgiving holiday. Go to gogriffs.com for complete schedule information, also ticket info at gogriffs.com, and of course you can call the ticket office directly, 716-888-TIXX. That's 716-888-TIXX. For head coach Jim Barron, good luck this weekend.
Thanks a lot, Ben.
All right, the Jim Barron Show, week in, week out, until next Tuesday. Remember, because we'll be in preparation for that game against the Bonnies. So no Jim Barron Show next week. We'll have play-by-play coverage of St. Bonaventure on that Tuesday night. I'm Ben Wagner, your host. Thanks for joining us for the Jim Barron Show. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you in downtown Buffalo at the Kessler Athletic Center for Golden Griffin basketball.